for you. Tomatoes are back here, maybe about 6 or 8 crates. This guy's here. You will have to do a little sorting through.
Right.
Or you let me know if it's something you can't really use.
My name is Cota-Robles, and I'm the founder and executive director of the Tucson Family Food Project. I am a 4th generation Tucsonan. I absolutely love this place. And I've always heard from people that if you're in Tucson, it's for a reason. And I feel a very deep connection with this city, with this land, and I'm just really excited to help out. Today we're going to be picking up some tomatoes, and I have an idea in my head for a very simple Italian dish that we can do with them, where it's basically tomatoes, onions, and garlic. So we'll be doing like kind of a spaghetti with them. So I want to see the quality of the tomatoes and kind of what they look like, and then that'll kind of help guide what we're going to use them for. Our goal is to fight childhood food insecurity, and it's a different term, and food insecurity is kind of like just coming into its own as a phrase that people are familiar with. So instead of saying hunger, which was used a lot back in the day, we say food insecurity, because hunger is actually the physical pain of not eating. Like your stomach when you don't eat and you can feel that pain, that's hunger. Food insecurity is bigger than that. It encompasses hunger, but it also encompasses the availability of food. Places that are food deserts in town where there's no fresh produce within a mile of somebody's home. I think right now it's estimated that 19% of Tucsonans live in food deserts where they don't have access to fresh, nutritious foods. So this is to combat all of that. So the idea is that we're going to fight childhood food insecurity by teaching them a life skill. So every Monday we get a donation of fresh, locally grown produce from an amazing nonprofit here in town called Market on the Move. Market on the Move I had known about. There's some other similar organizations that I had reached out to because everything that they get is being diverted from landfills as well. So we're super fortunate to live this close to the port of Nogales, which is the largest port of entry for produce in the country. And so there's tons of extras. And I had known about that, and I was like, how can we access all of this extra produce? And I got a flyer from Market on the Move, and I was like, hey, here's an organization that's doing it already. Let's talk to them. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm learning, is that it's all about connections, and it's about talking to people and just asking for what you want. So I approached Market on the Move, explained to them what we were doing, and they were more than happy to help because they have so much. And it fits in with what they're trying to do is, get this produce out into the community and have people use it, for it to be diverted from landfills.
I'm Pam, and I'm with the 3000 Club, and I serve as the executive director of the 3000 Club, and I'm in Tucson. The 3000 Club was built on the idea that nothing useful should go to waste, and that obviously you don't want to waste good food. So it was 3,000 members who donated $100 for the first 2 years to get a food bank going and to get this program. And in the process, we found that with community food banks, sometimes people don't like to fill out the paperwork or don't like the stigma behind it. And something like this comes in handy. It's still perfectly good food. This is the same food that the food banks are getting. It's just that there's so much of it. And abundance is important to get out there and feed people, because when you have 1 in 4 kids in Arizona with food insecurity, that breaks our heart. We shouldn't be that way.
So I kind of knew that a lot of churches have commercial kitchens that we would be able to work out of. So I sent out emails all over town to literally almost every church I could find online. And so I just sent out a blanket email across the city kind of explaining what we're doing and asking for space, for us to potentially rent or, get donated kitchen space. And so our home here at Catalina United Methodist, they were the only place that responded back to me. And they were like, this sounds like an amazing project. And initially we were paying rent here. So we were paying $100 a month in rent. And after about 2 months, the church was like, this is just really amazing what you're doing. And now we get it donated to us. So we don't pay anything here. And they've actually expanded our access to the kitchen, to other rooms, and we now have like our home base here. So we have a room that we use constantly. We store our coolers here. That's how we keep everything nice and cold for delivery. We have space. We store our dry goods. So this place is part of the story of the Tucson Family Food Project. We could not have done what we've done these past 2 years without the help of Catalina United Methodist. Tuesday and Wednesday, I have an amazing team of volunteers that comes here to the church to help me prep everything. So that's where we do all of our chopping of veggies, all of our portioning of ingredients, spices, really anything that is going to go into that meal kit. Today we're packaging up all the stuff we prepped on Tuesday and Wednesday. So the 2 prep days now are getting put into the actual meal kits. So these are going ingredient by ingredient, and they go into the bag, and then we put recipes in there, and then they get packaged up. And then so today is the day I start delivering to all the schools, and we use the church here as our home base. So we just start driving stuff out once it's all ready to go. And then by the end of the day, all the schools will have their kits. Wednesday night we film our YouTube video, so we make 1 extra meal kit every week, and that's the one that you see on the YouTube video. And so this way it's something that the kids can see. It looks exactly like what they just received, and I walk them through, here's how you put it together, and here's the steps to cook it. Right now we're feeding about 200 families every week. We take on more and more as the school year goes on. We started our first year, we were feeding 20 families every week, and like I said, that was just out of my own home kitchen. Last year we were at 113 families, and this year we're at 200. And so we take on more students almost every week. The schools that we serve, the families are allowed to sign up for the program anytime that they want. But we kind of gain a foothold in the school, and with the small group of kids we get at the beginning, they start talking to each other about what this is and about what they're making, and then we see the program grow. So we notice that when we get into a school, there's lots of room for growth from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and that we just continually encourage the kids to sign up. But the biggest thing is that when they see each other doing it, and like they're like, what's this week's recipe? What are we cooking? And then they all start seeing each other, then they want to continue and, you know, participate themselves. Okay, cool. So how did everyone's chocolate chip cookies come out? Good. Okay, awesome. Good. Heck yeah, that's what I like to hear. Nice. Hey, they're for you, so good job. Yeah, it's for everyone, you know, for everyone to share. You know, when I started the Tucson Family Food Project, I was just thinking about the food. Like families need more food, kids need more food. And I didn't understand how much goes into it beyond that. And the confidence for the kids is the biggest thing. And we had one of our parents come, and she told me that she had literally never seen her son proud until he had cooked himself, or he had cooked the family a meal, and he was walking it from the kitchen to the dining room table. And she was like, I had never even seen his posture be like that. Like, he was normally slumped over, and he had cooked this meal and he was walking it, and she was just like, I had never seen my son look like that. And it's because he had made a meal, and he did it, and he was feeding his family. And so every so often I run into parents who are in the program, and it's a really great opportunity for me to get feedback. Well, one time I ran into a parent who had told me that their house had literally ran out of food, and if it wasn't for our meal kit, they would not have had food for the weekend. And, you know, in talking to her, I was like, thank you so much. Like, I'm glad to know that it's helping you. But it was one of those things, about 15 minutes later, I was in the car driving home, and I got teary-eyed, and I was like, it hit me, you know, like that is a real impact for somebody that we're doing. And it's hard because there's so much work that goes into this, you know, not just on the computer and stuff, but like physically, you know, the labor of prepping all this and getting all these ingredients and things. And it is just, sometimes I lose sight of like the reality of like what this is doing for the families. And to hear that, you know, we're keeping families afloat with food through the weekend, it's just, it's really impactful. But it's also, it's like, man, that's a lot of responsibility. So that's why I want to make sure we're doing this the right way.
Every week, the kids are so excited when they see Stephen. The Tucson Family Food Project it's amazing. I mean, even this past week, Stephen brought a U-Haul truck filled with pots and pans and kitchen supplies for the students, and the excitement that they had, that they have their own cooking supplies now. And it's teaching students life skills, and then it is taking, like, if money is short in the home and there is no food, it's allowing, so it's a win-win. It's teaching those life skills to the students, but then also helping if needed.
It's just an excellent program. It helps when there's no groceries, at home for the kids on the weekends, or, those times of the month when you're like, oh my God, what do I make? And he comes home and says, I'm making dinner tonight, or I'm making breakfast. And it's like, wow, this would help out a lot more families in a lot more areas. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely a help with everything, just my kids, the food, the meals that we get to sit and talk about, and if he liked it, if he didn't like it, because he has to make them all. His least favorite was the pumpkin mac and cheese. He's like, never again, you're not gonna make me eat that one. But it's a fun time, and I really do think it should be brought to a lot more schools.
Ozzy, I think this is paste.
Paste?
Or
Just a tiny spoon.
keep that spoon for later, because if we need it.
Yeah,
then-
just in case.
Dang it, sorry.
My name is Azriel Castelletto-Seitz, and I am 13 years old.
My name's Evelyn, and I'm 8.
My favorite meal that I've made, probably caldo de queso.
My favorite is either the cookies or probably the pasta, because I love all the pastas.
That I can prepare food for my family and help with, like, dinners and stuff.
I like that me and my brother and my dad, we could make them together, and that we're spending time, and I love cooking.
In your hands.
Oh, I forgot.
I feel like they have gained a much deeper sense of self-confidence and independence from being able to cook at such a young age and being able to provide a meal for their families.
These problems like childhood food insecurity, unhoused people, all of these things that are these big major problems in our society that we kind of think like, that's just kind of how it is, like it sucks, but that is just unfortunately how it is. It's not true, that there are actual solutions to these things, but just like any industry, nonprofits need innovation. Like for-profits, they thrive on innovation because it drives profits and it drives gains. The nonprofit world needs innovation because it drives help and it drives the community. So these things are able to be fixed, but we need people thinking of new ideas of how to do it. And so this was our attempt at that. And so much so that we're entirely unique. We're the only nonprofit in the whole country doing this. But because it's a fixable problem. And if, we try this and it doesn't work, that's okay. Because it's just something we know now doesn't work and we can move on to the next thing. The good news is that it works. The thing I've learned the most in going into the nonprofit world and seeing what it looks like and seeing how communities respond to nonprofits is that you know, there's so much negativity out in the world, and we all know it. If you turn on the news, it's like the first thing you see. There's so much in our social media, and it feels like a lot, and it feels heavy, and you feel negativity. But in doing this, there is so much good out there, and it's something that is quiet. The negativity is very loud, and you know, those people, those things are the loudest out there. But the reality is there is so much more good in the world than there is bad. And when in doing this, I see it. It's just that the good is quiet, but it is there.
Thank you.
Awesome, you are very welcome. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.
Hey, what about photos?